Hello everyone and welcome to a new Coach Academy upgrade. I'm Corentin Guinez for Simmers here, and today we are on the Mugello for the week 4 of the MX-5 Open Series. So yeah, as usual, first we will go with your lap and then we will get into the details about this combo. So yep, let's get started. Alright everyone, so here we go for the lap around the Mugello with the MX-5. So as you can see, very long straight. It feels even longer with the MX-5 because we are not really reaching more than 195. Maybe it can be more with the draft, but yeah, when you're driving alone, this straight feels really long. It's already quite long with GT cars, so yeah, with the MX-5, you can imagine how long it is. So yeah, basically, same as usual for the first corner, you just drive on the left hand side. The only difference, of course, is that instead of braking around the 100, which is pretty much the reference you're going to use with most of the cars with the MX-5 and most likely with most of the slower cars, which are not really reaching more than 200. You can brake a bit later. So this time I think I'm braking just at 75, just between the 50, which is defined by this, the board, but also with a white line, and the 100. Braking at the, I think 75. Only thing is that for this one, you can brake later, but you don't want to brake too late because it's really easy with the speed um to get out of the line, because of course you don't really have front downforce, so it's not like you can really bring the nose and really take the corner, sharp corner. Like if you have too much speed, the front just slides and you just understeer and don't make the corner. And the thing is that I guess this car, I've never really done a lot of karting, but this car feels like it works tiny bit the same. Like if you are slowing down a bit too much the car, down the gear, you need to keep it high on the revs, I guess. So yeah, if you are taking a corner too sharp, slowing down the car too much, then you are just going to kill the momentum of the car and you are just going to struggle and lose quite a bit of time. Considering out of this turn one, it's going uphill. So yeah, the idea there is to make sure you slow down the car a bit more when you are in the first like step of the corner, but then once you're into the corner, you should just get a bit of rotation and then get as early as you can on throttle to make sure you can keep that momentum. So at 75, going on the brakes. And then as you can see, I don't think I'm putting massive amount of braking. It's just like under 70%. So it's pretty much about that. As you can see, I bring the car in the first part on the brakes. And then once I'm next to the curbing, I'm just lifting. I'm not really doing anything for like maybe a second or two to get the rotation. And then once the car is settled and once I have the good amount of speed, then I can just slam the throttle, get the momentum out of the corner. And as you can see on the line, I'm just staying all the way on the inside to really shorten the distance. Dropping to second, of course, just need to make sure you're not dropping to second too early because then the rear wants to step out. So yeah, ideally you wanna bring a bit for a bit of time the car into the corner with third, and then once the car is pretty much like settled into the corner, then you can put second. But yeah, you just need to make sure you are not going too quickly on the downshift. So yeah, you don't want to really pull a massive double downshift. So yeah, it's the same pretty much for the last corner, but yeah, we will see that a bit later. So as you can see, then turning in, trying to go for the corner next to the curb. As you will see, I will just release the brakes. Now I'm just going off inputs to really get the rotation, and then once the car is settled, as you can see, car is on the curb, then I can go on throttle, trying to shorten the distance as much as you can. So as you can see, I'm trying to stay as tight as I can, but of course I'm trying to open the steering to minimize the, I guess, the friction with the road, because of course if I'm turning in, I turn more, I will most likely have more friction with the road and I will lose some time in some speed. So you need to make sure you open the steering as well at some point. Then for the second corner, you can get on the curb, and then near the end of the curb, you start to turn to the left. When you are in the middle of the track, you are just lifting still with second. I don't think we've put, no, we didn't put second, so you just stay with second all the way. On the curb, turning to the left, just a tiny bit of braking on the way in, but just a tiny bit when you are maybe in the middle of the track, but it's not so much. You need to brake a tiny bit, I guess, because then you might arrive with a bit too much speed. But yeah, and you don't really want to. I think I did a lap guide already with the GT4 this season. But yeah, you don't really wanna exit wide of this one because, as you can see, the next corner is quite early after this left. So yeah, you don't wanna go wide on this one, otherwise you will compromise the entry for the next one. So just a bit of braking to make sure you can get tight out of this one. As you can see, I'm really tight off this first one, so I'm almost next to the white line on the left. As you can see, using a lot of curb, you can go for it. It's fine. The car doesn't move too much, to be fair. So yeah, you have to be smooth on them, just making sure you are not taking them like too aggressively, of course. So ideally, you wanna minimize a bit of minimize a tiny bit the steering angle, and same, yeah, you don't wanna arrive with a crazy amount of speed. Anyway, if you arrive with a crazy amount of speed, you are not going to get the exit tight. So yeah, then out of the curb, going full throttle. Then I'm steering to the right, lifting a bit the throttle. And as you can see, I'm not going to take the curbs on this one. Maybe a tiny bit of the second one, but it doesn't feel like it really makes the car moving or anything. So yeah, it just doesn't feel that good to take the curbs on the right side. Obviously, the car is going a bit slower, so it's not like the other cars where you can take the first one and the car most likely still will like stay in the air for a bit of time until you are reaching out the second one. This time, if you take the first one, the car is going to bounce from the first one, and then you're gonna have to take the second one, which doesn't feel really pleasant. So I think with the line, the tight line out of turn one, of turn two, it does really help to get this turn three without using the sausage curbs. And as you can see, I'm not quite lifting. I'm just lifting a tiny bit around the corner. But yeah, I think I would struggle a lot more taking the curbs. I would lose a lot more time. So yeah, just like that, it's quite good. So yeah, just a tiny bit of lift, avoiding the sausage curbs on the inside. Ideally, you want to put the right wheels just between the sausage curb and the Italian curb. I would call it like that. But yeah, just wanna maybe it's most likely the only corner where you want to avoid the sausage curbs. So yeah, then we'll head into the same kind of corner. So we will just go on the curb once again. look at the 50 board, then I will stay with third for this one. I just stay all the way with third. I don't drop to second. I think third is works quite good, and I think with second you would just kill the momentum. So yeah, as you can see, next to the 50, I will just go on the brake. I won't brake that much for this one. It's just about, I don't even know. I don't think I'm, no, I'm just under 50. So yeah, it's, as you can see, it's not a massive amount of braking. So you just want to bring the car in the fast part, slowing down a bit the car, and then as you can see, you will get the rotation once you are a bit off throttle and off brakes. So yeah, and then once you are um, on the curb or close to be off the curb, then you can go back on throttle. So yeah, close to the curb, going back on throttle. As you can see, using a fair amount of throttle for of sausage curve for that one. Just using half of the sausage curve. Obviously, you don't want to cut too much because then there is of course a risk of getting an off track, but or a slowdown. Maybe the second one is. I think you can get a slowdown on both actually. But yeah, for sure you will get the off track at first. And then as you can see, of the first curb, the first sausage curb, then it's just about going on throttle. I think I'm lifting a bit on the before this one. Yeah, I'm lifting a tiny bit before entering the second one. But then yeah, once I'm off this one, then I can go full throttle using the curb on the exit. So yeah, of course this one is this sort of chicane is a bit more open compared to the other one, so you don't really need to slow down that much. But yeah, you still need to like lift a bit before going into this one because, like I said, you don't have the downforce, so the front is not going to really go sharp compared to maybe a GT3, for example. Maybe also compared to GT4, like GT4 doesn't have a massive amount of downforce, but yeah, it's still better than the MX-5. So yeah. And then for the curbing, it might be the same for this one, just using half of the curb. This one feels pretty soft, so it's quite okay once again to use. But those two are softer compared to the ones before. So yeah, it's really okay to use them. And then as you can see on the way out, just making sure I can keep the right wheels on the curbing. So yeah, we are done with the, I guess, the first third of the track, maybe. Then we will end into the really fast part of the track with all the fast swooping corners. So for this one, just using the exit road, like when I'm getting close to the exit road, as you can see, I'm starting to turn to the right. And then once I'm near the exit road, not quite alongside the exit road, but just close to the exit road, I think it's pretty much the same as what I said during the GT4 lap guides. I'm using the exit road as a reference because this Marshall area is a bit too far away from the track. Obviously, it's a right-hand side track and it's a bit blind as well. So you need to make sure you keep really your eyes on this part of the track because you want to make sure you see quickly where you have to go once it gets more visible, I would say. So yeah. So that's why I prefer to look at the exit road even if it's not quite where I'm braking and when I'm turning in, instead of looking too far away from where I'm going to go. So yeah, but if you put the car alongside this this area on the left, on this sort of Marshall house or something, low how we should call that. But yeah, if you put the car alongside this is where I pretty much wait, maybe if I do this, I don't know. No, it's not this key. Yeah, this is pretty much where I'm turning in and braking as well. Even if I don't think I'm braking that much, but yeah, you can see the car is alongside. I'm starting to brake, releasing the throttle, and then you can see a bit of braking on the way in to slow down the car. Then the car gets the rotation, and then I'm using all of the track on the inside. So yeah. So exit road might be the best. As soon as you feel that you are close to the exit road, then you can start to go on the brake, steer to the right, and then you can just send the car into the the right hander. Just don't be scared to send the car into this one. You need to make sure you carry enough speed. Third gear corner, I don't think I was up to fourth. No, I was with third still, so don't need to downshift. Yeah, just a bit of braking on the way in, then off inputs to get the rotation. And once you have enough rotation, then you can go back on throttle. This is what is going to give you maybe a tiny bit more in the steer, but once the car is settled, you should not have to get more rotations than what I did there. So yeah. Then you just stay with throttle, you try to control the rotation with it. You can see I put the car on the inside, on the left. This is what gives me as well some rotation, because if I don't really do that, the car is going to understeer a bit more. You can see, by the way, on the replay, if I put maybe like this, you can see that the car tends to go more to the left. You can see that the car is rotating more to the left, because you can already see, also see that I'm playing a bit more with the steering. That means that the car is moving, which is a good thing, because this means the car is actually um, not doing anything, and it's rotating. So this is great. This means I need to control something instead of just turning, keeping the same amount of steering, which means the car is crazy lazy. This time the car is not lazy because it's moving a tiny bit. So this means I'm getting some sort of rotation. Then on the way out, the idea is to make sure you get the curb, but not too wide, because you want to make sure you can go then to the left. So as you can see, I'm going to the left. I'm not quite going too far to the left, of course, because I need to make sure I'm quick enough to go to the right. So as you can see, still with third gear. This time going to the right. I'm almost going really high on the revs. I'm almost going fully on third. So yeah, don't be scared of staying all the way on third. I think fourth gear is not good enough, unfortunately, because if you stay with fourth and at some point on the uphill you need to downshift to third, you are going to lose time. Um, so I prefer to stay with third. You feel maybe a bit more limited in the first part, but if at that time third, I think at that time fourth is too low. So if at that time you need to drop to third, you're going to lose time. So yeah, I tried fourth, and yeah, especially when you are up there, this is the steepest part. Fourth is not good enough. You are losing time. So yeah, it's better to stay with third, in my opinion, even if it feels a tiny bit limited in the first part. But yeah, it's still better overall. Especially in the last, after the second right, the second right like this, um, it feels better on the way out. So I just prefer to stay with third. Um, so as you can see, just a bit of lifting, trying to get a bit of rotation, using the curb on the inside, and then one side of the curb, going full throttle, using the curb on the exit, and then just before the curb ends, this one, turning to the right, I still stay full flat out. It's all the way flat for the second one, using all of the track on the inside. As you can see, I'm using the this painted area on the right side of the curbing, and then as you can see, just trying to quickly open the steering to minimize the friction, like turn one. I think I spoke. Yeah, it was turn one. I told you about the friction thing. So yeah. Then you just try to open the steering quickly to avoid staying for nothing with too much steering angle. Doesn't make sense. So yeah, and as you can see, I have a lot more, quite some room still to if I wanna go a bit wider, I can still put my right wheels closer to the edge of the curb, but I don't need to. So there is no reason as well to do that if you are in the good racing line already. So yeah. Then we are approaching another sort of chicane. So as you can imagine, this is the same approach as what we've seen before. Maybe closer to the first one, because the second one was a bit faster. If you remember, just before the right side downhill corner, we had the chicane before, which was quite faster. You stayed with third. This time it's a bit more closer to the first one we've seen, where you need to drop to second. So yeah, for this one, as you can see, I just use the curb on the first part, so on the braking, and then for the braking, I'm just braking like on the curbing. You feel that there is like a sort of a compression or something. Like I never really know how to call this, but yeah, sort of not a bump, but like there is a deep into the curb, sort of. So this is what I'm using. So if you want a reference, actually, this is not what I'm using, but I think this the white. I don't know what this is, but inside the tower wall, I don't know exactly what this is, if it's tires or not. But yeah, this reference, I think it does match my breaking point. Uh, maybe it's a bit after that, actually. But you have this square as well on the grass, but I guess you cannot really see that when we are driving. Yeah, no, it's a bit too small and a bit too, yeah, it's a tiny bit too small, but yeah, actually, actually, I think you can still use the white um part inside the tire wall as a reference, even though I think you can still use this deep into the curb, like it's just right after you get past this part of the tire wall, the white thing. Once you are past with this thing, you will feel a deep into the curb. This is what I'm using. To be fair, this is almost a single corner where you don't really have a proper reference. So yeah, most of the time I'm really trying to have the feel through the force feedback to feel that deep or the different elevations. I don't know if it's how you say that, but um, within the curve, like if it goes up, down, if there is a bump or if there is a deep. This is what I'm using, and I'm trying to have the feel. This is what gives me the reference of, okay, you have the bump now, you have the deep now, you have to brake. So yeah, so I think you can use the deep. This is maybe not so far away from this line as well, the green one, because as you can see I'm lifting, but there are like a few meters as well before I'm actually braking uh, stronger. So yeah, this is the different things you can use into this corner. So yeah, as you can see on the braking, I'm like using 70%, between 70, yes, around 75, just like between 70 and 75%. As you can see, braking mostly when the car is until the car reaches the middle of the track, and then once I'm entering the curbing, pretty much just before that, I'm just lifting to get the rotation, and then once I'm on the curb, then I can go on throttle. So um, if we see that from inside the car, going on the brake, so dropping to second, now I'm not really touching either, like not the brakes or the I'm not touching the brakes or the throttle to really get the rotation. As you can see, with second, cutting the first part, and then it's the same as what I did in the other chicane. You always try to stay sort of tight in the first one, so then you can really have a good momentum for the second one. This time you can cut the first part, and also I think I'm cutting a bit of the second one, but the second sausage curb doesn't feel that bad, to be fair, because you're not cutting that much of it. It's actually I'm not even touching the sausage curb, so yeah, it's just the curb that makes the car move a little bit. But as you can see, I'm just taking the first quarter of the sausage curb, and then once I'm cutting this one, I'm putting just after that third. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. With second into the corner, cutting the first sausage of the left one, and then once I cut this sausage, the first sausage curb, then I put third. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I don't want to keep second for too long. I think third gives you a good momentum after that. So yeah, I just prefer to stay with to go high up to third after the sausage curb. So yeah, and then as you can see, just a bit of lifting before heading into the left one, and then once I'm on the curb, then I can go full throttle up to third. Then we are approaching, I guess, the last third of the track. So for this one, putting the car on the curb on the left, and then I'm just using the 50 just after getting by the 50. Actually, no, just next to the white line. I'm not braking after that. Looks like it feels when you are driving that I'm braking after this line, but I'm braking alongside the line. So yeah, as you can see on the curb, then once I'm getting close to the white line, sorry, I don't know why I say yellow instead of white, but anyway, um, like close to the white line, which is the 50 board, then I'm just turning to the right and alongside the white line, I'm just going on the brake, trying to uh, keep the car as much as I can on the inside, using a tiny bit of curbing. And then once the car is slowed down enough, down to second, as you can see, using 52% braking, so around 50% braking. As you can see, I keep the brake for quite a bit, but once the car is on the inside and the speed has been decreased enough, then once again, no braking, no throttle. This gives me the rotation, and then once the car is settled, you can feel that the car has the grip and it's going to stick to the inside. You have to be patient for this one actually, to not go too early on throttle. It's really easy to go too early on throttle, and then you end up having understeer. You will feel it through the fast feedback that the car has the grip and sticks to the inside. So that's what you have to do. You have to be patient anyway, but yeah, you really have to wait before going full throttle. Really, that's the thing into this one, and making sure you're not rushing too much on the way out. So yeah, as you can see, off throttle, off the brakes, trying to get the rotation, and then once the car is settled, pretty much in the middle of the corner, I guess. Yeah, just a tiny bit before. Oh, actually, it's close to the middle. So yeah, as you can see, once the car is in the middle, almost in the middle of the corner, then I'm just going on throttle, just waiting a bit on the way out before going full throttle. But yeah, this is pretty much from the middle on throttle around 75%, and then once the car sticks really to the inside and you are starting to face the exit, then you can go full throttle. Trying to stay tight as well. Don't wanna run more distance going wide. So yeah. Then we are going through the chicane, so of course you can cut, not too much because you will get an off track if you cut too much. But yeah, this also can reduce a bit the distance. And then we are heading into the last corner, using the 50 board on the right side. So as you can see, going on the curb, and just before the 50 board, I'm diving to the left, going on the brake when I'm alongside the 50 board, which is on the right. It's just right here. So as you can see, next to the 50 now, releasing the throttle, going on the brake, and then as you can see on the brakes, down to third, and then I just wait a tiny bit before dropping to second now. So yeah, I prefer to be patient. Like I said, I think turn one is a bit better because it goes a bit uphill, so it also slow down the car a bit easier, so you can maybe put second easier, but quicker, which then feels easier. But yeah, for this one it goes downhill, so you have to make sure you don't put second too much, because into this one, turn one is quite okay if you do that, but if you are downshifting too early into this one, considering it's also going downhill, there is a lot of chance that the rear steps out by dropping to second. So yeah, into this one you have to be a lot more patient, and I guess you can see that on Delta, how long I'm waiting before dropping down to second compared to turn one, which is a lot faster. It's pretty much the same approach, I would say, but into this one it's a bit less risky because it goes uphill compared to this one where it goes downhill. You have to wait a bit more because you don't really want the rear two steps out, because if it does, it's going to you are going to go wider because you are going to try to um, get the control back of the car. But the problem is that then you have a very long stretch, so you are going to lose a lot of time. See if something like that happens. So yeah, this is something you have to uh, be careful about. To be fair, like dropping too early to second won't help as well with the um, the engine brake. Like it's not going to make a massive difference. You can stay with third. You are already dropping from fourth to third, so you already brake a tiny bit thanks to that. So yeah, then just second helps you um, mostly to get out quicker from the corner, because as you can see, once I'm down to second, I'm not braking anymore. So it's not even for the braking; it's more for getting the um, exit speed on the way out. So yeah, as you can see, it's not even a matter of slowing down the car, which is a bit more the case in turn one, but in this last corner, it's not the case. It's not for the braking. So yeah, as you can see, just aiming for the inside. I'm not trying to bring the car wide to then have a late apex. I'm just trying to stay all the way sort of tight, and then as you can see, I'm just trying to minimize the steering angle. I stay with second. I'm trying to reach the curbing on the outside, and then yeah, just trying to put second halfway, just trying to go full throttle, and then I just try to open the steering to minimize the friction once again. So yeah, as you can see, going wider on the way out, and then I'm using the curbing. Just make sure you are leaving the left wheels on the curbing. That's the most important, because if you are going too wide, the lap is going to be deleted with the off track. But yeah, then just going up to fourth just right now, and then we are just going for the start finish line, which is just right there, and we are done with the lap around Mugello with the MX-5. Alright everyone, so we're done for today. That was the week 4 lap guide of the MX-5 Open Series around the Mugello circuit. I hope you enjoyed this lap guide and you learned from it. Of course, that's the main target. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Coach Dev Academy channel and join the Discord server if you have any questions about all the work we are making. All the links will be into the description, of course. So yeah, from now I see you next week for the week 5. See you next time. Bye bye.